Okay, today I'm going to be showing you how to make one of those really fun wild things. We watched that great book by Maurice Sendak, and now we're going to design our own wild things. Now, the most awesome thing about a wild thing is it's an imaginary creature, so there's no reason that it has to look a certain way. I just am going to give you a few ideas about the best way to start. We want these to be large, filling our paper going the tall way. We're going to start with a head up near the top. A wild thing head can be any shape. It's up to you. I'm going to make sort of a circular head, but it doesn't have to be perfect. It could be any shape that you want. You could add some things to your face, like maybe some eyes. Maybe I'll make two big eyes. One eye's a little lower than the other. That's okay. Maybe I'll make a big triangle nose and maybe a mouth with some big teeth. I'm going to make some triangle teeth. I might like to make some horns on my wild thing's head. Now notice I'm drawing right with my black Crayola. It doesn't matter. Oops, that horn's a little bigger. That's okay because it's a wild thing. After I've made my head, I could make my body. That's the next main thing we need to make. Again, your body could be any shape. I think I might make kind of a triangle body. You could make some lines in your body if you want. After I've made my body, I need to add some arms and some legs. I could make arms with some big claws like this. I could make one arm going up higher. I'm going to add some legs. Rectangles make great legs. And then maybe I'll make some feet with some claws coming off my feet. Next, I'm going to use some other colors of my Crayola, not to color in, but to add just some details with line. The reason I want to do that is because we're going to be adding paint afterwards. Maybe I'll make some pink fingernails on my wild thing. That would be kind of funny. So you can add as many details as you'd like. Don't forget to add a little bit of white. Now the white will not show up right away, but in our next step, it's going to make some very cool patterns. So I'm going to draw a little bit with some white. I'm going to take my time and do a few patterns. Again, I'm not coloring all the way in. I'm making some lines. I'm making some patterns with some colors. Then, when I'm happy with that, I don't want to forget my name on this paper. You can even put it right up at the top. And then when I'm all ready for my next step, I think this is about ready, I'm going to begin with some paint. Now, we're going to be using the watercolor paints today, and most of you have used this type of paint before, but I just want to go over a few things to remember. This kind of paint does need water, and so we're going to be using our water dishes with the sponge. And I just want to review how we use these. We need to start by putting a little drop of water on each color, just a little drop, and that softens up the paint and gets it ready. Then, remember, each time we wash out our brush, we need to wipe it on the sponge. Now, I can start with whatever colors you'd like. You might want, I think maybe we'll make my body orange. And so I can start with painting a little bit of orange. And notice what's happening with those white lines that I added to my body. They're starting to show up right there. I can mix some colors on right on the paper, not in my watercolor bin. But before I do, I need to rinse my brush. I'm not tapping because that sprays it. I'm swishing it around in the water, wiping it on the sponge. Then if I need a little bit more water on my brush, I can get it. I could mix some yellow with my orange if I wanted to and make some different colors. Maybe I'll go with maybe some purple up here on the head. Ooh, that's a nice dark purple. If you get a color that's a little bit too dark, if it goes over too much of what you wanted it to show, one thing that you can do is you can use a little piece of paper towel and crumple it up and just dab it a little bit, and that kind of lightens up the color a little. One other thing I wanted to mention is when you're working on your wild thing, if you go out of the lines, it's okay because we are going to be cutting these out next time. So it's not a big deal if you go out of the lines. But notice how I'm washing my brush out before I switch colors each time. And I can paint in my whole wild thing, keeping the colors nice and bright. If I mix all of the colors together, it's going to turn into kind of a gray mess. So it looks nice to keep the colors a little bit separate. So when you're all finished with your wild thing, these are going to go over onto the drying rack. And if you have extra time, you can free paint. Have fun.